Hey everybody, welcome to another Stripe stream. So I'm hurrying up to get on here, and I got to do a couple things real fast, but I will be getting down to business here in just a couple minutes. Got to ring the bell real quick on the Twit books and the Facegrams and whatever else is out there, really. Okay, we got that one. All right, let's see here. So it is a actually really good Friday evening, isn't it? It's not bad. Um, I mean, could be a lot worse. Um, but it's actually not half bad. I was really kind of surprised because I thought for sure it was going to be cold. It's a little damp out, but it's not bad. So I was actually pretty happy with that. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. Uh, it's so awesome to manage all of your own social media totally by yourself with absolutely zero help whatsoever. It's just amazing. Um, so, I highly recommend that. Get lots and lots and lots of social media going, and what could possibly go wrong, right? Okay, let's see here. Getting down to business here in just a minute. Here, nope, 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 nope. Definitely going with that one. And go. Okay. Alrighty. So now that I've gotten that all out of the way, all right. So, welcome to Way of the Dad Live, Cincy Stripe stream number 9. And tonight, obviously, we're going to talk about the just really awesome game we had against the Titans. And then we're also going to get into previewing the upcoming game, being 2 days now, against the Kansas City Chiefs here back home at Paycor Stadium. So we'll be getting into all that tonight. Do the perfunctory thing that we always must do here, which is beg profusely for your subscription to the channel, following on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, if that's your game. And obviously liking and sharing these videos, or retweeting Way of the Dad, at Way of the Dad Pod, POD, on Twitter. Podcast is too long, and I guess just regular Way of the Dad was already taken, so I don't know, whatever. So anyway, definitely appreciate any and all support that you can give. It helps the channel grow, and of course I appreciate it very much because it keeps me able to do what I'm doing. So, with all that being said, let's talk about... Oh, what is this? I'll be damned. I'll be damned. There's a beer here. Where did this come from? I don't know. Just random beers just show up, I guess. So what do I got tonight? Drink of the night. Again, sticking local. And again, sticking with Wooden Cask Brewing Company. And so this time, I really loved the new porter. So good. That is just a delicious, delicious beer. This time I've got Wooden Cask Brewing Company's limited release, their winter ale, seasonal ale, brewed with cinnamon and molasses. Again, breweries from Newport, Kentucky, pretty relatively nearby me here. And winter ale is brewed with cinnamon, molasses, and has a rich malty aroma and beautiful deep amber color. But if you are interested in beer, especially the really wonderful historic microbrewery scene that the Cincinnati and the general area, northern Kentucky included, has, it's really just dynamic here. It's obviously went through some dark times. Pretty much all the microbreweries closed up shop. I'm not a history buff of this, but there are some good shows out there on some of that. And now it's back in just full force. I mean, you can throw a rock and maybe hit 3 breweries at a time. It's really something special. So let's go ahead and crack this puppy open. See what kind of head she forms. I know. There's Beavis and Butthead is laughing in the background right now as I said that. And what do I have here? Oh, that's right. This is going to be, eventually this is going to be one of my swags that goes up on my shelves that'll eventually be behind me here. But this is a 1991 Cincinnati Bengals Collector Edition mug from Slim Jim. So, I thought that very appropriate tonight. Let's see here. What kind of... Oh, it's a little more golden than I've already drank one of these, by the way. But I haven't poured it into a glass yet. So, it pours a pretty good head. Looks very hazy. Got a good, I don't know. I'll call it an amber color there. It's not yellow. It's not golden. It's definitely more amber. Getting close to brown. Not quite full brown, but it's definitely getting golden amber. You know, something along those lines. And it is delicious. Winter ales are not my favorite thing. Sometimes they're a little too spiced. But this was actually quite good. So, Tagai, cheers. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. So, do a little housekeeping. Twitter, Way of the Dad on Twitter is going fairly well. I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's been, let's just say it's been interesting. Twitter itself has been very interesting. And, but I really like what I'm able to do. And I like the much more dynamic conversation that I can have, both with Bengals fans and Bengals followers, and also say more the pop culture and movie, TV show, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, whatever, on and those kinds of accounts on Twitter. Um, I am still planning on splitting the Bengals content eventually here. I don't know if I'll do it in season or if I'll do it off season. I might kind of, if I do it in season, it's going to be kind of a soft handoff, a soft transfer. Still, you'll still see it here, but it's going to go up on that channel, and eventually everything's going to transfer to that channel. But getting another channel up off the ground is something I just don't quite have time for just yet. It is in the works, though. I just feel like the content needs its own space to breathe. Not to mention, if I get to the point where I have other guests on or something like that, I definitely want to be able to do that. And I want it to exist in its own space. Sure, Way of the Dad still owns and operates it, or however you term that. But yeah, that's still definitely in the works. And looking right here at my Twitter feed, it does prompt me to remind myself to say something. Soon enough, you're going to see a different hat on me. Obviously, I plan to eventually get some Way of the Dad hats made up for myself. Obviously, if it ever gets to the point people want swag or merchandise, I'll go down that road for sure. But I want to get some Way of the Dad hats for myself. But I do have another hat coming in the mail that I'm very, very happy about. And with all of that just... oh, the energy our boy Teddy Karras has at the end of the game. Oh my God. I it's pretty vulgar, and not that I'm clutching my pearls about it, but I loved it. It dude needs to have a statue after his playing times here is over. He needs to have a statue, just for that alone. And so he has a hell of a thing that he's doing. It's called the Cincy hat, and I will. I have to figure out. I'll put it in the comments somehow. I have to figure out how to do that. I'm streaming right now. I know there's a way to do it while I'm streaming. Somehow. But it's you can see it on Twitter. I'll put it up after the fact. I'll have to put it up after the fact. I don't have somebody working behind the scenes to help me, so I don't know. What is that? Nope. That's not it. Nope. Okay. Anyway, so but Ted Karras is doing a promotion with the Cincy hat. These are pretty good looking hats, to be honest with you. And I know it's for a charitable cause. I am not the most up on it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Cincy hat is a partnership between Ted Karras and the village of Marisi. I hope I did not get that wrong, guys. To raise money to provide housing and services for adults with developmental disabilities. And I can't think of, I mean, there's so many good causes you could be for. This is obviously one of them. Let's be honest. So eventually, I'll be sporting a Cincy hat at some point. I don't know when it's coming. I don't expect it to show up next week, although if it does, that's great. But at some point this season, you're going to see me sporting one proudly. So I'm happy to throw some of my money in the pot to help that, and I hope you do too. I don't get anything from it, but hey, it's really awesome what he's doing. And I'll tell you what, after that energy he had coming off the field last week, hell yeah, let's get down with it. I can get with that. So, all right, a little bit more. So obviously, like I said, Twitter's going well. Haven't had a chance to work. It's actually my daughter's birthday today. We already went out to dinner, and if I look slightly doughier in all of this, we can blame it on them Texas Roadhouse rolls. They taste way too good. I don't think they're legal. They probably have something illegal in them. But so I'm gonna try to power on through this, being full of ribeye steak and Texas Roadhouse rolls and too much damn food and, well, more beer now. So, you know. So anyway, all right. Let's get serious about this here. So let me get this microphone like halfway down my damn throat because that's always comfortable and I love having this thing. But it does help my voice come across a little better, which is not a bad thing. So let's move that there. There we go. As I knock 12,000 things over and make wonderful noise for you. Alrighty. Okay, so let's get down to, obviously we had a game last Sunday. Don't know if you all noticed or not, but it did happen. Believe it or not, I swear, it happened. And it was against this team from Tennessee in Nashville area called the Titans. I'm being kind of a butthead about it, but go away, Nat. We don't want you here. You there's plenty of other places for you to go exist. So it was I think when I called this, I called it, if I remember correctly, I said 24-20. And for me, it was more about the spread than the actual, like the win differential than more the actual points. I figured there was a chance they could possibly pull off, I don't know, 3 touchdowns and a field goal, something like that. Turns off, I was off just a little bit. So, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. But my point spread was right, and that should in no way be used in future for you to go bet, because you should definitely not be listening to me about betting. I know absolutely nothing about betting or any of that stuff. I mean, I know a little bit, but I mean, this is not the place for you. This is not sponsored by Betfred or Sports Kings or DraftKings or something, whatever it is. I'm not getting money from them. Believe me, if I was, you'd know. But it was a hard-fought game, which is what I expected. I expected this to be a difficult, tough, not sexy game, and it damn sure wasn't a sexy game. It was ugly at times, grimy, and honestly, it reminds me, it's weird. I've always kind of wondered about the Titans. The Titans are an oddball to me because they seem like a team that should be in the AFC North. Like they've always struck me as they belong more in the AFC North than they do in the AFC South. At least historically speaking, with the teams in the AFC South. Let's see what that's. Colts, Jags, Titans. Oh, that's weird. What's the other team? Whoa. Hey there. Okay. Oh, oh, God. I forgot all about the Texans. I forgot they existed. Oh, I think a lot of the NFL forgets they exist sometimes. Poor guy. Ah, God, I feel bad for them sometimes. So anyway, I totally forgot the Texans existed. So, but this was the kind of game that you see in the AFC North. Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, Steelers, Steelers, Browns, Browns, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, that kind of thing. It's just an ugly game. It's grimy, it's dirty, it's kind of the trench warfare type of game. It's not your high-flying, high-scoring game, which sometimes we get those in the AFC North, but let's be honest, we know they're more outliers than they are common. And it's usually when one team is either like you can just see the Bengals got caught totally off guard by the Browns this year, and it just, within the first quarter, it just got totally away from them. But those kind of games don't typically happen, or like what we did to the Ravens last year, where they were just decimated by injury, and it was just obvious. We were just on a track race, and they didn't even have their shoes on yet, and we were already running laps around the field. Don't know why I'm sticking with the track analogy, but hey, you know, gotta roll with what you had. So, so it was that kind of game, obviously. 20-16, 4-point lead or 4-point victory margin. Although it was looking like it was going to be a 7-point margin right before the end. But this was a game of, I mean, when you look back at like the drives, punt, 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 field goal. They actually struck. They actually got first blood. They got 3 points. We got a field goal, and then they got a touchdown, and it was punt, punt, and then it was a touchdown for us. Missed field goal for them. But it was not a pretty. It was not a pretty game. And let's be honest, until that let's see here, that touchdown at the end of the third, or near the end of the third, I guess. It wasn't really, the game wasn't really in hand. This was a game that was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was like watching two boxers out there just trading punches. And after a while, it's kind of like, oh, geez, oh, God, this is going to be bad. This is going to hurt like hell tomorrow. But thankfully, doesn't seem like we got a lot of much of an injury concern out of it. I know, I think it was Logan Wilson was questionable, Jamar's questionable, Joe Mixon's questionable. Even though virtually everybody expects Joe and Jamar to play. And I haven't gotten any reason to believe that Logan Wilson won't play. It was kind of odd that he popped up. I don't remember him popping up earlier in the week. I might have missed it, though. So, but it was it was kind of an ugly back and forth game. And, of course, thankfully, Burrow was doing what he does. He's out there just dealing the ball. And for a guy who got, and I didn't like this, some of the narrative coming into the game was, oh man, Joe was sacked 9 times last year by this Titans D. And it's like, yeah. And only one of those guys on the line is still there. And in fact, he was the only one that was decent last time around. I'm not saying Jonah Williams is the truth or the answer, but he was better than virtually everybody else on the line last year. So why is that a narrative? It's almost like sometimes you're listening to these national pundits and you just wonder, like, are you even paying attention? And I know they're probably not, let's be honest. And that's why I don't get too worked up about them when they say things that just, if you're a Bengals fan, you actually pay attention to the team. Even, I'm not a professional and I just pay attention. And you're just like, what? What'd you just say? And it's not even something like getting names wrong, because they have to remember so many names, and they're trying to be prepped with all these names and stuff. But it's more like when they talk about something, and it's like, you're not watching the game, are you? You're getting the box score, maybe getting a mini package of highlights, and you think you've had a feel for the game. You didn't have a feel for the game. I can tell just by what you said. So you're going to get that. That's why I don't get too worked up about it, is because, these guys got to watch, what is their 32 teams, 16 games every week. Of course, now that we're past Thanksgiving, they're going to be spread out a little more. You've got Thursday games. Eventually, near the end of the season, we're going to have Saturday games. Maybe makes it a little easier to digest. But let's be honest, there's still a bunch of games on Sunday at 1 and 4. So that's hard. But, they were talking about, like, oh, Joe Burrow's got to be worried about it. He got sacked 9 times by this defense like last year. It's like, yeah, because they were running through turnstiles, not a real O-line. This year, yeah, rough start for the O-line because they didn't play together at all in the preseason. Never played together before. But have you been paying attention, guys? They've been getting better and better and better. Are they some kind of historical all-pro elite line? No. Are they a hell of a lot better than what we had this time last year? Damn right. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Does rookie Cordell Volson still give up some pressure sometimes? They make a bad block or misses block? Yeah. Often? No. Is he getting better? Yeah. Is Jonah Williams the best left tackle in the NFL? No. Is he the worst? Depends on which game we're talking about. But generally, no. He's been okay. Would I like to see a better answer at that position long term in the offseason? Yeah. Yeah, I would. But he's what we got. There's no all-pro left tackle sitting out on the free agent trash heap. Sorry. So we got to roll with what we got, and then at the same time, I wonder how much Jonah's, because I had almost forgotten about it. I know there's a couple games. What was it, the Cleveland game? I don't remember if it was the game after that too, but he had not been playing real well. Well, I think right before that was when he had his dislocated kneecap. How much does that affect? I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Just food for thought. I had forgotten about it. And then I heard somebody mention it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So, this game pretty much went the way I kind of thought it could. Of course, it was never, like I said, until that final touchdown, this game didn't feel like it was in the bag by any means of the word. And I don't know what it is with opponents who play the Bengals, and they start getting a little cheap shotty at the end of the game. But Vrabel's special teams his defense line was diving at the O-line's legs and knees and ankles and stuff during victory formations, pulling that Greg Schiano bullshit. And Ted Karras let everybody know what he thought of it. Fuck you, up yours. Like, yes. God, I love that guy. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're a Bengals fan, I don't know how you can not love that guy. That guy is just, he's good. He's damn good. And I want a bust or a statue of him raising his fist and says, up yours, right out there in front of Paycor, right? That'd be great. They won't do it, I don't think. Not bad. Anyway, so really happy with the game. I some observations. I'm not going to be exhaustive. There's plenty of websites that cover this shit way better than me. One of the best things, kind of getting into the details of the game, was Derrick Henry just running into a brick wall after brick wall after brick wall after dump truck after semi-trailer. I mean, he looked positively tiny, weak, out of gas, no energy. They stole his love of the game. They snatched it right out of him. They snatched his soul right out of his body. He was out of the game in the first quarter. Now, I'm sure he would disagree, as he should. But, I mean, what the hell? Like, that was awesome. That was great. He was frustrated. He looked out of sorts. And Mike Hilton absolutely posterized him. I think like at least twice, I think 3 times. And man, and Mike Hilton is at a significant size, height, weight, disadvantage. And he was giving a clinic in tackles, how to take down a big man. There was times I had to replay it. I'm like, oh my God. Like, Mike Hilton just took him down again. And it wasn't all just Mike Hilton. DJ Reader being back, huge. And I ain't just talking about the man himself. I'm talking about his presence, what he meant to the defense, what he did, what he changed for them. DJ Reader being back out there was gigantic. And we can all tell if you pay attention even a little bit, you knew Reader's absence was a bit of a problem. Now the defense did their job and they held up and they kept us in games and everything else and all that. They did their job. But you could tell they were kind of like, it's almost like they're trying to fight with a bad arm, like trying to box and that one arm's a little gimpy or something. Yeah, you can still fight, but your one of your punches isn't very good right now. And him being back was just massive, absolutely massive. And it allowed all the rest of them to play much more freely because when DJ's out there, he does things that just most guys can't do. I mean, he pulls blocks, he pulls doubles. I mean, just all kinds. He just sucks up so much air in the trenches. And sometimes he's the one getting his tackle, getting a stop or something like that. But it allows others to really get in there and go. And it makes a big difference. So, DJ being back was huge. And, secondary continues to hold up pretty well. They've definitely got a test this week, but they held up real well. And, the goal was to force Tannehill to throw. And that's what they did. And now Tannehill didn't throw any picks that I remember. Yeah, I don't remember him throwing any picks. But I know some, the joke of, Tannehill was talking about how he needed to go seek out some counseling after the loss to the Bengals because it just killed him, throwing those 3 picks in that game. Well, we'll see if Derrick Henry needs it because Derrick Henry got put down. Speaking of people who got put down, Pirine did a little bouncing somebody off the turf. I can't remember the name. David Long. My understanding, David Long is pretty good. I'm not an expert on the Titans. I don't claim to be. I don't follow all the NFL. I have a life. But that first run, that first play on offense, and he takes him and just sit your ass down, boy, and he just bounces him like a basketball off the on the court. Dribbled his ass on the turf. It was, I mean, it was, oh my God. It was the first play. And it was beautiful, really. Knowing now how the game went. It was beautiful. Because it perfectly encapsulated exactly what the Bengals planned to do to the Titans. Yeah, you're going to get over here and you're going to try to run me and you're going to try to tackle me and I'm going to put your ass in the dirt. I'm going to bounce you. I'm going to dribble you right off this turf. And it was a microcosm of the game. You give me your best shot, I'm still got one for you. Go ahead, get me again. I got another one for you. It was awesome. And it was that physical message. It was like that, we are going to out physical you today. That's exactly what happened. Love that energy to start the game with that first run. And he did win Angry Runs. Good Morning Football has this segment called Angry Runs, and they look at like 3 of the angriest or most replayable runs, and Samaje Perine won it after that one, specifically on that run. So congratulations, Perine. Okay, so anyway, Kicking still looks good. I'm really happy to see that. Punting still looks good. And obviously, Higgins was big in the game. He was really owning. I'm just going up there, one-on-one, beating the man on him, and just getting that ball. And he was really great. Burrow was absolutely on point. He was just laser focused, pinpoint, dropping bombs, and perfectly going right over coverage or right under coverage or right in between or off to the side. And even Travion Williams running, as the backup running back to Pirine for the game. He looks good. And, what do I want to say about that? Because it makes me wonder about the other one that we would have all thought we would have been talking about, which is Chris Evans. And Chris Evans commits a kind of a rough penalty. And we don't really hardly see or hear from him the rest of the game. I don't know. He might have been back out there, but he didn't do anything consequential, I guess, is what I can say. So, what does that mean? I mean, Travion looks good. He can catch passes. I don't know what his blitz, blocking game is, his protection, QB protection game, but I mean, he looks good. So, obviously the running back room is not without depth. I hope that Chris Evans can kind of get himself back into the coach's good graces. But if he doesn't, then it looks like we got someone in Travion Williams who's going to be just fine. And so that's a positive. I mean, it's not maybe necessarily a specific positive for Chris Evans, but it's a positive for us as fans and for the team in general because, okay, you don't got it. How about the next man? And that's what you do. Hayden Hurst continues to be the Scottish Highlander out there, or the I don't know. He's got red hair, dude. Okay, I don't know. I'm assuming he's can trace his roots back to Scotland in some way, shape, or form. But he's just absolutely being Eric the Red out there, just being a beast, an absolute beast of a human being. And he laid a disgusting block in pass protection. He's on the right side of the line. I don't know what play. I can't remember exactly what play this was. I know this was a completion to Higgins, if I remember correctly. A fairly long completion. And there was a replay on Twitter that I saw, and I missed this watching the game, so obviously I saw this later on Twitter, and he's on the from the quarterback's viewpoint, he's on the right side of the line, and then as soon as the ball snapped, he immediately vacates and comes right across the back of the O-line to the left side, and lays a just nasty blow-up block to someone who is trying to blitz Burrow, and then it allows Burrow to just cleanly sail that puppy right into T. Higgins' hands. Awesome. Loved it. So, I'm trying to think, what else do I have in my notes here? Obviously, Burrow was playing clean ball again. And O-line held. O-line did their job. They're doing well. Is it perfect? No. But, I think the Titans D got one sack. I think they got one sack. Something like that. They didn't get many, if they got any at all. Look, I said the secondary's doing their job and holding up. Cam Taylor-Britt's looking like potentially a legit find. I don't know that means he's going to be like a lockdown, shutdown corner, Revis Island type, whatever. But he's looking like a guy, a real dude out there. And I remember there was he did run down and try to force the fumble from Derrick Henry, which he did force the fumble. Of course, another Titans player just recovered it in the end zone. And they got a touchdown off it. But I remember he did a pretty big tackle too. Cam Taylor-Britt did. So, Looking good. Looking good. Um, you know, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of bad to say. Although the only thing I will say that was a little, I guess, concerning, or maybe not concerning, but just something I know I didn't like, was that Tyler Boyd was way too damn quiet the entire game. Now I don't know if they were trying to double him and take him out of the game plan, thinking that their number one cornerback was going to be able to take out T. Higgins because his name's not Jamar Chase, so he's not that good. They found out that was not a good idea. So maybe that was the thing. Maybe they had Boyd kind of locked up. But that's okay. Hurst and Higgins come through. Travion Williams came up with a big screen pass, or a big rescue pass. Joe Burrow had to get kind of fluster out of the pocket, and Travion changed his route to match up and got it. P. Ryan ran hard, got yards. So did Travion, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Uh, Special teams had a lot of turnovers. That was probably the one thing that was really like a um, truly a negative. It was, and I don't know. Like I saw some penalties that seemed a little ticky tack, but some of them were pretty legit. And that was a little odd. Usually the Bengals don't commit a lot of turnovers, at least not since Joe Burrow's been here. They've been relatively turnover free. So but it is what it is. And now we're going forth with, um, you know, another win in the win column. We're up to 7-4, tied with the Baltimore Ravens, who lost in phenomenal, just beautiful, beautiful ways to the Jaguars. I loved watching the Jaguars. We've switched over right after that. Absolutely loved watching the Jaguars snatch the life right out of the Ravens and just take it away from them. Although in Jaguars fashion, they almost screwed it up because they left it up to Justin Tucker. And thankfully, Justin Tucker is still apparently human and can't always make a 66 or 67 yarder. He was short at least 2 or 3 yards, it looked like. Of course, they don't want to show you the best replay angle. But it looked like he was probably 2-3 yards short in the stadium on that day. Probably, I don't know, wind. Don't know. Don't know if there was any, Mother Nature factor. God, that's good beer. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Everything's looking good. Stream's looking healthy. I like that. All right. So, so obviously, if whether you listen live or listen or check in after the fact, I definitely want to hear what your thoughts are. If you've got any opinions, strong or otherwise, I would love to hear what you got to say. And well, okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Get that out of here. Oh. All right. So, let's see here. All right. So, yeah, obviously, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your opinions, questions, comments, whatever. So don't hesitate to leave them. Like I said, whether you watch during while it's live or after the fact, either one's perfectly fine. Oh, yeah, that's how I set that up. Okay. Anyway, so let's move forward. We'll wrap things up. It's Friday night. I got an extraordinary amount of work to do left to do in the house. We got having a party, get together, lots of friends and family. My daughter's birthday tomorrow, or well today, but we're having a party tomorrow. So got to prepare the house for too many damn people. But it should be fun. Always is. Lots of food, lots of friends, lots of good times. And let's talk about the Kansas City game. Let's get real. Take a big drink for this one. So, oh, well, try not to smack the microphone, Scott. This is going to be a tough game. There is no doubt about that. I do not expect a blowout either way. I expect this. I'd be surprised if this game is anything other than a field goal at the end of regulation or overtime to win. That's what I feel about this game. I definitely. I mean, look. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? Well, we got a chance to do that. Everybody will say, "Oh, we did it twice last year." Well, and yeah, we did, no doubt. But that was last year. This is this year. We're playing tomorrow. We're not playing 10 months ago. We're playing now. 2 days from now, this team is. And while our O-line is definitely better, we stand an extremely good chance of getting Chase back and Mixon back. And we're about as healthy as we're going to get. Right? So that's really good. And this team is better than it was last year in at least a fair amount of ways. But so are they. They are not the Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce offense. They are the Travis Kelce offense plus 3 other pretty good wide receivers. And, he's spreading it around a little more than he did before. And he's got some capable wide receivers. Although I would love to see Juju Smith-Schuster just blown the fuck up again, just like he was when he was a Steeler, when he got caught tick-tocking on our middle of our turf. So I definitely don't think this is going to be an easy game. I definitely think it's going to be a bit of a slog. I think it's going to be a bit of a punch-up. But how do I see this game going? This one's hard. Make no mistake. Their defense is decent. Ours is pretty good. Their offense is really good. So is ours. I'm going to say the Bengals win. Because for some odd reason, the Taylor, Burrow, Callahan, and then, of course, Lou Anarumo, they seem to know how to play the Chiefs. And until such a time as they, as they show that they can't, I'm going to assume they plan to continue to do so. I think that they can cook up something new. I don't think they're going to go back to doing what they did last year that worked. And it worked on the fly. But I don't think they're going to go back to that because there's no way Patrick Mahomes is going to fall for that again or Andy Reid's going to fall for that again. But I do think this defense is going to continue to do what it does, which is usually it starts off, I don't want to say soft, but let's just say a little flexible in the beginning, And then as it figures things out, it just keeps tightening the screws and tightening the screws and tightening the screws on the offense. I do expect the Bengals to be putting points on the board. I expect this to be a relatively high-scoring affair. I'm going to call this 34-31 Bengals. And I'll be thrilled if the Bengals win by a shit ton more than 3. I'll be thrilled if they win by 1 by the skin of the teeth. I don't give a shit. But I think it'll be like 34-31 is what I'm thinking. Relatively high scoring, field goal type margin of victory, something like that. I know the betting line is like 1.5. Minus 1.5 for the Chiefs. I think that means like they're giving them 1.5. Is that how that works? I can't remember. That's what I'm saying. I don't do betting. But I feel like it's a field goal type of game and like a field goal to walk-off win. And even though it could probably be like a 1 or 2 point spread, I feel like that's what I'm going with is there's that 3 points. I feel like that one field goal is the game. And I think Burrow is ready. And look, we've won 3 games in a row with less than ideal starting rosters, game day rosters, right? You know, we've had people hurt, we've had people injured, we have people not playing, and they just keep finding a way to win. But if there was ever a game where you wanted to be literally fully loaded with, all of the ammo that you can have, well, here we are. Perfect timing, right? And so, yeah, I feel like this is like a field goal type game. I feel like the Bengals figure out how to win this game, how to figure out how to snatch it away from the Titans. And I feel like Burrow's going to be dropping dimes. But Mahomes is going to be out there doing his thing too. And I definitely don't think this is going to be like the Panthers game. Not at all. This is not going to be a 35-0 at halftime type shit. It's just not. At least not likely. No one would put, anything more than, a bullshit $20 on that long shot bet. So, but that's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen with the Chief game. You're looking at 2 teams that are kind of, I don't want to say they're built similarly, but their strengths are in similar areas, is what I would call it. I don't think they play like each other, but I just think, their strengths are in similar areas. And it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. I can't wait to watch it. Honestly, it's like Sunday can't get here fast enough, right? But, it's going to be a hell of a game. And got a piece of, I don't know, is that dog hair? Cat hair? I don't have any cats, but it could be. Random cat somewhere. But anyway, so wrapping up here, let me know what you think. I really do want to hear from you. Obviously, I want you to subscribe to the channel because when this does split off, obviously you can go over to the new channel, whatever I end up calling it, and and that's going to be all fine and good, and hopefully I'll have maybe a, ideally long term, it'd be nice to have a bit of a panel. As much as I can talk, it's never been a weakness of mine. Well, sometimes it has been. But having a conversation is always more fun. It can be messier, but it's always much more engaging and dynamic, right? So I'm going to work on that. Work on laying the groundwork for a split off from this main channel to its own, these Stripe streams to their own channel. And but I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm just having too much fun, and I love the Bengals. I love my Bengals. So, But, definitely reach out, look up for that, the Cincy hat. I'll just put it in. Let me see if I can find it here. The Cincy hat. Yes. How do I... There we go. And now I can edit and add in... Really? There we go. So I'm putting in here right now Ted Karras' thing with the Cincy hat. And might even shout out the Wooden Cask Brewing Company. Let them know their beer is a da bomb. There we go. Now it's in there. It's in the show notes or whatever you want to call that. I don't know. The description. That's what I'm looking for. Description. It's in the description. But reach out and if you don't tell people. I don't tell people what to do with their money. But if you do have some extra money and you are so inclined to do so, reaching out and supporting Ted Karras' fundraising initiative is obviously a potentially good place to spend it. You get you a decent hat, and of course, the proceeds go towards helping those with disabilities in need. And really, that's like I said, as far as good initiatives, that's definitely one of them. Wooden Cask Brewing Company, thank you for the beer tonight. I bought it myself, but thank you anyway for making it. It's delicious. I'm not always a big fan of the winter ales, but I actually do like this one. It's nice and mellow. It's not overpowering. It doesn't taste like 45 pounds of peppermint or cinnamon or whatever the hell else people put in winter ales. But that new porter is the bomb, though. Let's be honest about that shit. You ever want to invite me out for a free tour? I'm your man. I'm down for it. But yeah. I'm looking forward to the game. I hope you are too. And we'll be talking about it next week. Today being Friday was not the ideal day, but this week has been absolutely jam-packed unexpectedly. And I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing these on a Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure yet. I'd like to have more time for these to breathe a little bit. But then sometimes you don't have complete information early in the week about who may or may not play. So I don't know. I'll have to look into that. And I know I could break these two up, recap versus, you know, preview. But I'm just trying to make sure I have time for everything else I got going on in life. But if I get this channel monetized, oh, that helps. That helps me be able to spend more time with this. Because I really enjoy it. I enjoy the hell out of it. So, obviously, I'll be back next week. We'll be talking about the game. Regardless of the outcome, we're going to talk about this game. And yeah. So, let me know what you think. Please subscribe, share the videos, like them. Helps with the algorithm thing. YouTube, unlike Twitter, YouTube does not like to promote small channels. They expect you to somehow just miraculously catch fire or some shit. It is really hard to get seen on YouTube as a small channel. And so I'm trying to work on that. I'm just keep my nose to the grindstone, and I'm just going to keep on going until something breaks and something moves in the right direction. But I'm having a great time, and I hope to see you again. I hope to hear from you, on these streams. Like I said, I love to hear comments, questions, and obviously, if you're having trouble, I had a friend of mine who tried to leave a comment on the stream last time, and said for some odd reason it just wouldn't let him. I would say then reach out to me through Twitter. That's on Twitter is at Way of the Dad Pod, Pod, as in pod people, or podcast. Way of the Dad Pod on Twitter. Let me know. I will see that. And but I've adjusted comments as it's pretty Wild West as far as the settings go right now. I don't know that I can really open it up any further. I think it's about as open as it gets. It's pretty much set to all comments, anybody, subscriber or not, doesn't matter. So, which tends to invite a little more spam, but is what it is. So anyway, but that's going to be it for today. And until next time, Who-Dey, take care. I love this mug. Take care and have